Well, I think it's very important because reaching out to the diaspora across the world is a big issue for Ireland, I think. And when you imagine that there's and the numbers bandied about 70 million, 80 million across the diaspora. I come from Canada, where we have 3.5 million people who have an affinity with Ireland. That's about 10% of the population. It's very significant. And last night the President was talking about how that makes us connected around the world. And that those connections really do open doors for us and helps businesses here in Ireland, helps Canadian businesses do business back here as well. Well, I've been very impressed with the proceedings. I think it's been very well organized, and clearly there's a lot of very influential people from around the world who have agreed to come here and share in a very significant way their thoughts and their ideas. Yesterday we met with the Minister of Finance, with Mr. Lenihan, and we were able to share with him, I'm in the financial services industry, and share with him the view that around the world there's this view that the financial crisis in Ireland has been very widespread. And what we were able to say to him is that when you look at it, it's really more of a domestic issue, and that the international companies who are operating out of the IFSC, they've been somewhat immune to the financial crisis. And so it's important to talk about that internationally. It's important for people like myself to talk to my colleagues in Canada and others to talk to their colleagues around the United States and elsewhere that Ireland is open for business and it's still a great place to do business in. Well, I think for me, I left Ireland in 1986 and so went over to Canada. Like a lot of people, I went for 6 months and stayed 23 years. What I observe over there is that a lot of the things that are Irish are operated by and run by people like myself who are born in Ireland. So things like the St. Patrick's Day Parade, all the people involved in that were born in Ireland. And there's lots of different examples like that. My concern is that as we have less emigration out of Ireland, and you don't have people like me showing up in Canada and in the United States, is how are we going to ensure that 10, 20, 50 years, 100 years from now, there will be a St. Patrick's Day parade in the streets of Toronto. And so I think reaching out to the diaspora and the government putting in foundations in Canada and the United States and other countries around the world to make sure that 100 years from now there will be a St. Patrick's Day parade, there will be Irish music played in the schools in Toronto and places like that. I think that's important, and I think that's good that the government is reaching out to the diaspora at this point.